I was going to ask you about the best hire ever, but I'm going to skip that one. I want to go to your kind of favorite interview bit. It could be a question, it could be
Sure.
stylistically, like things that you like to do in an interview when you really want to get to know a candidate. You're at a level now where, you're interviewing higher level people. What's what's your favorite bit?
Sure. So I assume, I'm fortunate when you're doing that executive level interviews. For the most part, the candidates, when they come in, they've been there, done it. I'm not really worried about can they add and subtract. I know they can do that. Is what I spend most. I'll give my secret for any candidates who want a cheat sheet here. It's pretty simple. One of the thing I usually ask somebody when I go through their resume, and I ask them, out of all the companies you've worked for, which was the favorite culture you worked at, and the company had the culture that you liked the most, and which, and they tell me that, and I go, describe that to me. And then I ask them, which company's culture got the most out of you? You may have hated that company, you may have hated that culture, but it got you, you did some of the best work you ever did. I want to know what that culture was like. And then I finally ask them which one resonates with you the most, out of all the ones that you work with. And because as I've told you in my experience, I've made bad career picks based on ignoring culture. And I can tell you specifically at Roku, we have a very strong culture that we stand by and we hire to it. And I want to know that. And people will tell the story. It's one of those questions. You can't lie it. You can't fake it. It's like, I worked at Google because we did this, this, and this, and I loved doing this, but I was at this company and it was a miserable boss. But boy, that accountability culture, that high expectation culture got me at every Monday I was out of bed and I was working and getting stuff done. Those, I learned a lot about people in that.
Just a real quick point of clarification, especially with Roku. You say you hire to the culture, but I'm also assuming, and I want the audience to make sure they get this, you promote to the culture and you fire to the culture as well.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's all ingrained in one thing to us. But I would also say, people always want to, and not to defend Roku culture or anything in this podcast, but people always hear you fire to the culture, and I think it scares people. And
Right.
and I'm like, it should never scare you to this. It should be the expectation you want out of a company, that it's the value set, it's how we get things done, it's how we treat each other, it's how we communicate, it's how we get things done. And we want to hold everybody accountable to that standard, and things like that. So people don't ever get scared by when they hear companies do it. It should reaffirm to you that it means something, that, because firing people is difficult. It's the hardest thing companies have to do. It's the biggest failure a company faces when they do that. And if a company is willing to do that, then I would sit there and tell you that's a company that believes in their values.